It's the end of season 15, and I bet the big question is, did we win more than one trophy? Let's see. Roll that title. Everybody to episode 61 of the Liechtenstein Challenge here with Vaduz, and I wanted to do something slightly different for today's episode just to try and avoid spoilers. So what we're going to do is show you first the European games for a change, then get into the transfers, I think, just to update you with what's happened and how things are going, and then we will get straight into the Liechtenstein Cup and as well the Swiss Super League. So strap yourselves in, it should be a good one. In March, we took a 3-0 victory away from home to the Czechia side Sparta Prague, who we originally played in the league phase, and we beat them 7-2, so this was a good result going into the home leg. Stiller, Maximiano and Nyestad with the goals for ourselves. In the home leg, it was a little bit more trickier, but we had enough goals from the away tie to secure passage into the quarterfinal. We scored in the 8th minute thanks to Malone, Godula and Inky getting the goals in the second half for Sparta Prague, but Doria making it 2-2 on aggregate, taking us through to the quarterfinals where we would face Fenerbahce. We played them at home in the first leg and it didn't go off to a good start. Paradisio getting a goal in the 34th minute there. And then in the last minute of play, another goal from Paradisio. Nice assist there from Bogacan to make it 2-0 for them to take it back to Turkey, and it wasn't looking good going into the second leg. We returned to Fenerbahce after winning the Conference League here a few seasons ago, and things looked really bright as we scored a goal in the second minute for Silla, but we just could not find a way past Fenerbahce, and unfortunately this time we did not make it through to the semi-final and we were knocked out of the Conference League quarter-final. Despite us getting knocked out of the Conference League, it was a little bit disappointing, but we did play one of the finalists, and it would have been Bournemouth in the semi-final as they beat SK Rapid. Dortmund got past Viking and Monaco and they beat Fenerbahce in the final, so we would have probably played whoever was playing in the final and the semi-final. So not too disappointing in the end. Unfortunately though, that means we miss out on Champions League next season, but it puts us in good stead for the Conference League going into next season. This is the update with regards to transfers. I just wanted to get this in first before we did the remainder of the league season in the Swiss Super League. So I believe we got to Leon Hirsch, who we signed last episode. In terms of outgoings, I will go through them first. So Kaska Kaminski finally left the club after a long period. We wished him all the best. I'm not sure if I told you that Luis Pastor has left the club, but he has eventually. He wanted to leave and he didn't want Liechtenstein nationality. I didn't mention that in the last video. A couple of surprises, but in the end, I wanted them to go. Rafael Campana has decided to go to Basel, didn't want Liechtenstein nationality, so it was basically bye-bye, thank you for what you've done. A decent, I would say, really good offer came in for Mbao, so we sold him to Chicago or Chicago Fire, I think it is. Yeah, it should be Chicago Fire in America for 10 million quid. We've also got a buyback clause, if I'm not mistaken, on him, so if he does come good, then there is the possibility that we could re-sign him. But I just thought, for how much we paid for him, it was worthwhile us selling him. A couple of loan deals. So Hirsch got a loan deal. One of our young players, Araton, who I'll go in a minute, also got a loan deal. And Kyle Swinton, who I've had on my shortlist for a bit, also went on a loan deal. They're not really important, but Fabian Depov has finally left the club. He gone to Basel. Just too many injuries, and he was really, in the end, I thought it was now or never to get rid of him. So a decent player in the end, but just wanted to leave, and we've also got a better replacement, in my opinion. which I'll show you in a moment. And then a young Liechtenstein player, Andreas Kurt, went to St. Gallen. So just trying to get a few more Liechtenstein players out the door. In terms of incomings, so I obviously mentioned Hirsch, but we signed Leo Costes from Ingolstadt. 300 grand for him, not too bad. Potential there. We'll see how he goes. Another one, Nicola Ferrara, from the side Vicencia or Vencia, whatever you pronounce that. Another prospect for the future, 275k. A lot of January was buying for the future. We also signed Asia Gonzalez from Astorga in Spain. Young player there. I took a little bit of a punt on Peter De Bruyne, or De Bruyne. He is basically to sit into the reserves for as long as possible and get Liechtenstein nationality. That's the reason I've signed him. Looks like a decent, okay wing back, but he's probably going to be another one of these players where it's going to be sitting in the reserves for some time to hopefully get Liechtenstein nationality, because I know we've got that with Verdi at the moment. And we've also got that with a few other players as well. And the reason why I sold Depp off is we signed Kevin Clavero from Real Sporting in Spain. £60 million, probably one of the most expensive players I've signed, but for 23, 5'11", already doubled in value as well. On a long-term contract, 46 grand a week, but I thought fullback. The only thing that maybe is letting him down is his dribbling, passing, and teamwork, but everything else is really good, and he's been a solid signing for us so far. And then a couple of more freebies. Kyle Swinton, who we signed from Motherwell, he's went straight back to Motherwell on loan just to get some experience. David Plaza, who we signed from Caldas in Colombia, one for the future. Probably try and get him out with a Spanish club or a Spanish affiliate. We shall see. And then, as I mentioned in the transfers, Arton, 17 years old, think there's potential there. Loaned him straight back to Sognadal because players under the age of 18 don't actually contribute to Liechtenstein nationality. It's a weird thing. So if I go to the information and show you in terms of eligibility, it's not going to be there until he turns 18. Probably trying to think of a better example to show you. So if you look, for example, at Loverick, I've just went out of the transfer situation for a moment. It says that his days completed is 896. Obviously, you've got to get 1,825 days. But the fact that he's been at the club since, I believe that would have been 15. If I go back to the information, he only has a certain amount of days, so it's still going to take him a long time to get the nationality, and that's what I was meaning by the point with the young Norwegian that we just signed there. That's the transfers for the 2037-38 season, but I bet you're asking the question is, did we win the league? Let's see. So, after the last game in the league, which was the Basel game, we had a friendly against Celtic where we got a 3-3 draw. Unfortunately, Lugano decided to beat us at home 2-1, an annoying defeat there. But we went on a 3-game undefeated run, wins against Luzern, Zurich and Yerevan. But then unfortunately, Winterthur, our closest rivals, won 1-0 at home thanks to a goal from Shaban Bektashi. But after that Winterthur defeat, we beat Aru, Young Boys, Schaffhausen, Servette, St. Gallen, Basel, Lugano, and then finally getting a draw against Luzern. We also beat Eschken Marin in the semi-final of the Liechtenstein Cup to secure a final place in the Liechtenstein Cup. This is how the league is looking after the split. So we are currently on 27 wins, 2 draws, and only 4 defeats this season. It's been an incredible season so far in terms of the league. One more victory against one of the top 6 will ensure that we come first, and possibly, who knows, we might even get a title as well. After 15 seasons, it all came down to this. If we beat Basel, we would finish first in the league. Let's see how we got on. I am happy to say it was a walk in the park in Basel with a goal from Kaiser in the second minute to ease any nerves. And then in the 21st minute, a ball to Alejandro, plays it at Nyestad, and another goal from Kaiser here. Nyestad and Kaiser have been some of our best young players this season. Then in the 79th minute, Fadil plays a ball into Maximiano, our trusted veteran from Portugal, to make it 3-0. And then in the 81st minute, to complete the hat-trick, Kaiser with a great goal. And yes, we did get the trophy parade in Basel, a 4-0 victory, and it was so lovely to see. After 15 years of blood, sweat and tears at Vaduz, we finally finished first in the league. We somehow got a trophy animation, but as we are a Liechtenstein team in Switzerland, we did not get the record of being champions, so that will go to Winterthur instead. I think that's a decent adversary in terms of who got second. Instead of Basel or Young Boys getting it, it was Winterthur's trophy for a number of seasons, I believe. But yeah, we had a little bit of a party in Basel, and in the streets of Liechtenstein, they were celebrating really nicely. See though from the video, we have, according to our inbox, won the title, but with us being a Liechtenstein team, we have not got the trophy in the honours, which is a little bit disappointing, but I was expecting it nonetheless. But we are top of the league, and we have got the green little mark next to us, which means we have come first. It's took us 15 seasons, and the board obviously wants us to win the Super League again. So here's to another season with Vaduz, and here's to hopefully consistently winning the Swiss Super League from now on, or at least finishing first. As well as finishing first in the league, we beat our second team, Vaduz, 6-0. It was a pretty easy game, and we have secured Europa Conference League football for next season, which is fantastic, along with finishing first in the league. The intake, again, wasn't particularly anything to scream home about. We signed pretty much all of the good talents that you see here. I didn't really go into much detail with regards to showing you off, because the last two intakes haven't been particularly good, which has been really annoying. And as I've mentioned in the last two episodes, Ian Taylor will no longer be head of youth development. So bye, Ian. We wish you all the best, but it's time for a change. Just wanted to show you the remaining games. So we beat Servette 4-0, we beat Luzerne 2-0, we beat Young Boys 3-0, and then on the final day we drew 2-2 away from home to Winterthur. But as you can see, it's been a fantastic season for us. Only 4 defeats for the entire season, which is incredible. I feel like this team has been coming in terms of the last 2 seasons or so, finishing first. I will say though that everybody else has had a bad season, the likes of Young Boys and Basel, for example. 31 wins, 3 draws, 4 defeats, and 2 of them were Winterthur, one of them Basel, and one of them Lugano. The 3 draws were Luzerne and Young Boys, but for some reason it's not picking up the third team. But with that 96 points, we are the record most points ever in the season. We've also got the most wins in a season, which is 31. And yeah, most team goals as well. We scored 112. So it's been a pretty, I would say, brilliant season in terms of how we've done this season. We have unfortunately still got the lowest attendance, which is annoying, but it is what it is. I'm not able to check if we got the least goals conceded in a season, for some reason, most team goals conceded. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm trying to look for like goals conceded, but if you look at the table as a whole, and just to let you know as well, Zurich have survived. But yeah, we only conceded 34 goals and scored 112, which is insane for how we've done. I just hope we can keep this going next season. And in terms of the players as well, I will just minimize myself. I just want to show you the whole sort of group here. So as you can see from the average rating, we've got 4 players in the average rating: Maloney, Fedili, Clavero, who was our young left back, Nyestad, and you can see down there we've got a lot of players in the top 10. We didn't have anybody in terms of goal scorers in the top 3. Having said that, though, Benjamin Kaiser recorded his best season, scoring 17 goals. Maximiano 14, Fadil scoring 13, and as well, Mancaroni got the clean sheet record, which was really nice. Maloney and Nyestad got plenty of assists, so you can see a lot of the team has been contributing this season compared to the last couple of seasons, which is mental for me anyway. Maloney getting 5 man of the match performances, which is really nice. Sorry, player of the match. You can't say man of the match anymore, can you? But yeah, a really good season. And I'm just looking forward to seeing how we get on in the future. So in terms of the squad and how things are looking forward for next season, the only departure is going to be, at the moment, Noah Lampert. We're not going to renew his contract, which is kind of devastating for me because he is literally a legend at this club, but I think the time has come for him to leave. Good overall player, but I mean, he's 29 now, and I think his caps for Liechtenstein have gone down as well. The only other major departure, and you're probably going to be surprised by this, is Fadil. He's going to go to Celta. We sold him for 19 million. Now, the reason why this has happened, I don't know if this has an impact, but financial fair play, we are 19.5 million over the projected loss for the period ending. That is next season, so we need to be a little bit careful with our finances. I'll let him go begrudgingly because he's a really good player, 22 years old. I think the only reason potentially why is the offer was good, especially for somebody we paid 14.5 million. We're going to recoup that. Maybe we probably could have got more, but I think he wanted to leave and join a team that was in the Champions League, which is fair enough. And he doesn't enjoy big matches, so I'll be on the lookout for a new box-to-box midfielder, definitely. The only other player that I can potentially see leaving soon is Alejandro as well, because his contract is expiring next season and he might be on the move. Having said that, though, with Alejandro, he is very close to Liechtenstein nationality, so if he accepts it and he wants to go, fine by me. We will find a better player or equivalent, because Alejandro has been a solid player. I'm being a bit disrespectful to him there. 5 solid seasons for a 6.5 million, so I'm not going to let him go for cheap if I want him to. The only nuisance is that a lot of our players, Lazarus is wanted, Mancaroni is wanted by big clubs, so we might be in trouble with the usual suspects. Don't be surprised if you see a couple of players leaving, like Mancaroni, Lazarus, Alabe, for example. I'm just looking down the list. Meloni and Silla are potentially ones that could go as well if an offer comes in that's outstanding. Nyestad's probably one we need to keep an eye on as well. And I wouldn't rule out maybe potentially Simon Beale leaving. He's been looking at getting a deal out, but I don't want to let him go because he's a solid player for me. In terms of the dev centre, I'm probably not going to sign Kevin Diaby for £17 million. It was a nice opportunity to get him on loan, but one player I really want to have a look at next season. There's actually a couple, but this one in particular, Nataman. So he's the young midfielder that we signed from Nuremberg, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but he's 6'5" and can play at centre back. And I'm looking at those stats for a centre back, and I'm very, very scared. I don't believe in that potential ability, and the fact that he can play down the middle is really entertaining for me. He is wanted by a couple of German clubs, but I don't want to let him go for cheap or anything like that. The only other two players I potentially may see in the first team, yeah, I just wanted to have a quick look there, is Afolabi, who we signed from the Nigerian club Pato a couple of seasons ago. I really want to give him a go. He's not a box-to-box midfielder, unfortunately. He's better as a playmaker, because if I put him on box-to-box, he's nearly there, but tackling and positioning really let him down, and aggressions. And I don't want to waste somebody who's got that ability in terms of playmaking. The only other one I want to have a look at is Max Adams as well. We signed him from Ried, I think, in Austria a couple of seasons ago. Probably not going to get Liechtenstein nationality, but I like the look of him, and I really want to keep a hold of him. And the fact that we've got potential interest in Schultz, who was our Liechtenstein left back, right back, and I'm not really certain whether we're going to keep a hold of Alabe or Javier because they've had good seasons, both of them. Alabe's had problems in the past with us. It is going to take a substantial offer for me to let go of certain players. Now, I know I've not necessarily done that with Fadil, but I think anybody going forward now, it's going to have to be a crazy offer, like for Mencaroni as well. But the fact that we've let go of Casanova and Cilia to bigger clubs because of release clauses, I ain't letting go of Mencaroni when he's looking like this. His consistency needs to go up, but I mean, you can see it this season. I mean, clean sheets of over 10, which is potentially going to win you a league, or you're going to be competing, if you know what I mean. So it's going to have to be an insane offer for me to let go of Mencaroni. And finally, before I stop rambling, something that really made me happy because I've had him for so long, Marcus Polo's got Liechtenstein nationality. I'm such a happy dad. We've had him for a number of seasons, signed him for 400k. Last 3 seasons he's come into the fray. I'm a happy boy. Champions, technically anyway, but we finished first in the Swiss Super League, and as I said, it was a priority for me, especially after last year missing out on Luzerne and the season before that. We're young boys. Yeah, it's nice to win the league, even though technically we haven't got a trophy and we technically haven't won it, but great. And hopefully next season we can defend that first place, which we will do very well, or we will try to do very well. And we will also be giving the Conference League another go because we need to get into that Champions League. But if you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's always appreciated. Thank you very much. And I will see you for season 16. It's going to be a fun one. Take it easy. Stay safe. Bye, everybody.